Hi, this is Bobby Tewksbury with TewksHitting.com. We're here with My Swing Episode 6. Today we have Brady, who is an 11-year-old from Massachusetts. And Brady's actually been up to see me before. He came up one time last year, and he's trying to implement some stuff and get some movement going. So I'm excited to take a look at him today. The self-reporting we've got, he's obviously 11, like I said. Had success last year, not striking out. Needs work on finishing the swing, which we'll talk about. The video that we're going to look at is not the initial video that he sent, because as he wrote, hadn't been swinging much, so we got some updated video, and that's what we're going to look at. So just let it play a little bit. He's at obviously up here in the Northeast we got a lot of snow, and it's just brutal to be up here sometimes because you can't get outside. It's not like you can just go out and take BP on the field, so you got to really rely on feel, and you have to really pay attention to what's happening in the cage. One of the things that drives me crazy is when hitters don't make adjustments, they don't pay attention to their ball flight, and they just swing for the sake of swinging. It's really difficult if a player is not engaged in their own development, and they have to be focused. So let's take a look at your swing. It's playing in the background here. A lot of attempt to get some movement going, which is great. We need to control it better, and as we said, and as your dad reported, needs help finishing the swing. So we're going to take a look at that. I got a bunch of clips we're going to scroll through, and one other thing that I want to comment on first: be aware of your body language, and this is something that's so important for, every single player. It's okay to get frustrated. You should be getting frustrated, because if you're doing new things, if you're trying to do something you can't currently do, you're going to fail, and that's awesome. The key is to not accept a failure. It's to learn from it and make adjustments and become better because of it. And I do a lot of quotes of the day. Every morning I send out a quote, and failure is one of my favorite topics for those quotes, because pretty much every successful person that I know, that I read about, the books that I read, they all embrace failure. It's not an acceptance of failure. It's an understanding of the value and the importance of learning lessons and overcoming challenges, and that's a tremendous lesson to learn. But one of the things that you need to be aware of is you don't want to show frustration with your body language. It's usually not well received by coaches, and it's a mental toughness thing, because in a game, as a coach, we don't want to put a player out there that's going to bring down the team with poor body language. And I'm not trying to rip on you here. I just want to, it's a teachable moment, because some of your body language tells me that we need to talk about it a little bit. So don't show and react to your failure. Keep it inside, internalize it, think about it, and you're going to get mad. There's going to be hitting sessions when you want to throw the bat across the room, and that's okay to feel that way, but we have to kind of bottle it up, keep that poker face where you're not showing your emotions too much, and show your team, show your teammates, show your coach that you're mentally tough. So I just want to say that. But a couple of things we're looking at here. We've been talking about this a lot. There's some hitters that do start back and they get away with it, or they move back, but we can see, I'll put the mouse next to your head. Am I going the wrong way? Hold on a second. There we go. So mouse next to the head. We've got a decent move back, and we got to minimize how much we get over this back foot. I have Ryan Zimmerman up because he's a guy who has a decent amount of actions in his swing. He's got a big leg lift. Compared to you, his hands aren't coming down as much, so maybe that's something we can tone down a bit. You got that knee across, and it just doesn't need to be that big. One guy that does bring the knee back that far is Josh Donaldson. You got to have a ton of awareness, and if you develop it, that's great. But at the same time, I know in speaking with Josh, there's times when he tones it down, and there's times when he goes big with it, and he has to understand who he's facing that day and and how they're going to try to get him out and what kind of velocity he's dealing with. So it's not a static, I'm doing it this way every single time. The amount that you go here can adjust and vary depending on the day. The big thing with this is getting over this backside, and I need to bring up Josh right now since we're talking about him. Whoops. So this is we have a comparison, and the big difference here that I see is how much that move back happens versus where Josh. I mean, he's got, when you start that wide and you bring your leg back that far, there's going to be a little bit of move off that, but he's got this really good angle. Your angle is minimal. Your hip is over your foot. His hip is not. So when I said bring the knee back, your knee comes back. You can see it comes back past your leg. His knee comes back kind of past his head, but not past his back leg. So, and if we bring Zimmerman back in, we're going to see, again, not that far. So minimize this. A good option for you might be those swing vision goggles that can keep your head a little more forward. And when you get this turned, there's a tendency you lose eye contact with a pitcher. Seems like you're doing okay with that, but something to monitor. Make sure you can see the ball with both eyes. So as we go through this, a lot of intent, a lot of moves here that aren't quite finishing. So what I see is the back arm's not getting down quite enough. The left arm's staying a bit low. We'll scroll through here. So watch out when he lands, that we can see that back elbow poking underneath. And with you, as you're kind of moving into your load, into your land, it's getting there a little bit. The left arm stays low. And then the root cause of this, and what I really want to talk about, is kind of a drifting move that you have, and you don't let the barrel really finish turning. You don't let the barrel come all the way around. And I think you're still trying to use your arms too much to kind of drag the bat through the zone. And I'm not saying bat drag. I'm saying it's getting where bat drag is traditionally the elbow getting way ahead of the hands. The back elbow, I mean, getting way ahead of the hands, and you get this like extreme lag position that isn't what we want. But when I say bat drag, I feel like you're dragging the bat through the zone with your body, and you're not letting it turn all the way through. So if we watch Zimmerman, he lets this bat get all the way back, gets that back arm get all the way down, and as he goes through this movement, his body will kind of stop getting forward and continue to kind of rotate and just finish turning into the ball. He's got this stable front side, and he doesn't really drift through contact. And what I see with your swing is everything's kind of drifting. You get all the way up on the toe on this front side, on the front part of your foot, and then you get this like curved arch with your body instead of a more kind of stable up and down. So your back gets really, really arched. So when I say bat drag, it feels like you're using like back extension to kind of pull the bat through the zone. And I just did that movement just sitting in my chair right now, and hopefully some people listening to this will kind of feel like that back arching to make the swing happen, and that's not really what we want to do. So that's Zimmerman. I just want to go through. We can finish JD's swing here. Again, that back arm getting all the way down, and then it's maintaining the spine angle and allowing that turn to finish without that big arching move. A couple other guys, and I wanted to pick some guys that have some movement. Again, starts pretty up and down, but as he taps back, he gets that hip to kind of coil around and doesn't keep his hips in that same line. But as he goes through, I mean, an extreme example of getting that back elbow down, which I think would be beneficial for you, but allowing his body to finish turning, and it's not that arching move. You may benefit from thinking back shoulder through. That might be a cue that works for you. one thing that I think might be helpful is allowing your weight to be on your heel when you finish your swing, instead of getting your weight kind of forward on that front foot. Drive that heel into the ground and feel anchored on the heel side of your front foot, not the toe side of your front foot. And that might kind of prevent that feel of needing to arch and create a swing with that arching movement. And again, let's play that again so we can see the difference. So we get that that arching move versus that more up and down, allowing rotation to happen. We got Sammy Sosa. We got a couple more. I just wanted to get you some different looks. And one other piece, and the reason I brought Sammy Sosa up is you might benefit from a toe tap move, or at least trying it out in practice, where some of these swings, your timing was off, you seemed a little drifty. When you get over this backside, that drift tendency is definitely going to show up a lot more. So you can do that toe tap move and keep that hip inside the back foot. Keep that head more centered ahead of your back foot. And then from there, allow that stride to happen and allow that move to happen, and see if we can finish that turn and let the shoulders finish rotating instead of arching to get that finish move. I got one more fun one because you're a Massachusetts kid. Got a Euclid. Now he's a guy that gets his hands way down, pretty close to you. And his hands actually, I've pulled up clips of Bonds, and I've used Bonds a few times, so I don't want to pull them up again. But in terms of how low the hands go, not a terrible comparison. And at this point, it looks pretty similar in terms of angle. Good thing with this clip with Uke is you can see that move happening where he's getting inside and being controlled with it a little bit more than you. And then obviously elbow down, lead arm up, and finishing that turn. And he kind of gets a little flippy with the hands into his follow through, where I don't necessarily want you doing that, but just getting a feeling of that rotation allowing to finish instead of that kind of drifty. So I'm going to let your clip play again, and see what we can get. See if that feel of that arch kind of creeps in a little bit. Hopefully you can feel that when you're watching this. Go back to that one. Kind of that body kind of dragging it through. And again, getting up on the toe on that front side, where more often we see that weight through the heel. And you might see the front side, the front part of the foot lifting up. Last one we're going to look at is Gary Sheffield. Where way more often we're going to see the front part of the foot lifting up, not the back heel. Sheffield's got some huge moves. I mean, make sure the move looks, at least with the barrel, looks small. But let yourself keep turning. Let that turn finish. And Sheffield, I would imagine, felt like he was swinging down. He still gets onto a good plane. Excuse me. But allow yourself to finish that turn, and look at that front foot not rolling up onto the toe. All right, so that's what I've got for you. Minimize that move back. See if you can test out get the right shoulder to keep turning through. It's not a cue for everybody, but for you, I feel like it might be helpful. Get anchored more on that front heel, and be aware of that body language. All right, keep up the good work. Let me know if you have questions, and thanks for submitting. We'll have our next My Swing on Monday. I'll be down in Florida, down in Toronto's camp down there, checking out some hitters, and can't wait to get out of the snow. So thanks for watching, and if you have a clip you want me to take a look at, please submit. I'll have the link below in the YouTube description, and we'll see if I select you for my swing. Thanks again. Take care.